guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Shelly, and here we talk about Shelly's thoughts over 60. Yep, so one of my thoughts today, I've had a few, but one of my thoughts today was breakups. And do they hit differently over 60? What do I mean by that, right? I would say that when you're younger and a breakup occurs, I think it's easier to just move on, right? It's never like easy to move on. What I mean by that is I think when we're 60, 70 and beyond and a relationship comes to an end, it hits very different, right? And my opinion, not a doctor, not a therapist, but in my opinion, I think the reason they hit so differently is our age, right? Is there someone else around the corner? How am I going to find someone else at my age? And I'm too old. What about dating? And I don't want to live alone. And sometimes I think we tend to stay where we don't even want to stay because of our age, right? Right? And this isn't exclusive to women. I think this goes both ways. I think when a relationship ends, it's really, really rough, especially for the breakee. The breaker pretty much knows what they want, right? 9 times out of 10, that person checked out long before they left, right? I did a video about that earlier. A lot of times when a relationship's end, we've checked out of that relationship long before we physically walk out, right? But for the person who didn't want that breakup, right? They're like, what? They didn't see it coming, or to me, it's so hard for those people to navigate that kind of situation, right? Because especially when you're older, because you're settled, you think this is it. This is the one I'm sitting on the porch with. This is end game. This is it. This is the one, right? And suddenly it ends, and I'm speaking from a woman's perspective. I'm a woman, but let's say he leaves you for someone else, he leaves for someone younger, whatever the case. And I've seen a lot of that. Y'all, ladies know what I'm talking about. I've seen a lot of that. I've seen a lot of, men leaving. They're 60 years old, 63, and they leave for someone 45. I've seen it, and I hear about it in my groups, and it's sad, right? And they're scared. You're like, oh my God, what am I gonna do now? And obviously when you have a good support system, friends, your kids, siblings, whatever the case, or even, just a community to hold you up. But what about you're on your own, right? What about people, maybe they don't have kids, or they don't have a strong support system. It was just them and that person. Now this person leaves, right? I can't even imagine. My advice to people like that is to, get out there, make some friends, meet people, whether that's in your place of worship, whether that's take a class, whether that's in a condo association, whatever. Get out there and just don't stagnate, right? Don't just sit there and feel bad, right? Try to, and to me, relationships ending, we tend to, what did I do? Why did it end? What happened? What could be different? Blah, blah, blah. Listen, forget all that, because that's the past now. The past is in the past for a reason, right? We hear that all the time, right? And to me, it's easier to let go than fight it. Like, what are we gonna do? We're gonna fight it? This person's decided to go, let them go. And but it is very difficult, right? It's scary. Am I going to land on my feet? What am I going to do financially? Who knows? Maybe your finances are like this, and now, you're going your own way. It's hard, I would think. I would be terrified. I can imagine what kind of tailspin that puts you in. Again, I've heard a lot of it in my group. I belong to a grandma group. And I have a specific lady who is 67 years old, and her husband was a little younger. He was 65. He left her. He came home, he was just done. And he hooked up with someone who was 54, not a lot younger, but youngish, right? Young. And yeah, he was just done. You know, he met this person at work, and I'm sorry, I just don't love you anymore, and blah blah blah. You know, I know we've been together 29 years, but I'm done. Like I can't, that, what a tailspin, right? She was really knocked out the water. And she did have two kids and things like that, but she was really blown away. Now she's getting settled. She loves her alone space. She lives alone. She is digging it. She's reading and doing her own thing. So she found her space. She's happy, her peace. But at first, man, it knocked her off her wagon, you know. In any case, yeah, I think a breakup at this stage in our lives can be catastrophic. I think it's important to get your bearings, you know, get your footholds, try to get as solid as you can, get that support group under you. Maybe get therapy. Again, I'm not a therapist. These are just my thoughts, right? Just things I'm hearing in my group. You know, y'all do what you do, you know, do what's best for you. That's what I'm saying. In any case, let me know. Have you ever been through that? Do you know someone who's been through that? And yeah, what advice would you have? You know, for me, I say do whatever you got to do to get through, right? In any case, that was my thought. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.